Alright, YouTube, it's time for another video. Just in my famous spot in the middle of nowhere, in a parking lot with a fence. I'm gonna title this video something along the lines of, I got 9 likes on a Facebook post. No, better idea. I got 9 likes on a YouTube comment. I basically need to start a podcast. And first of all, updates. My job, still hate it. Still kind of treated like shit. Thinking about quitting, but I'm just going to stockpile cash right now. And go from there. Find out what to do next. Also, I'm really frustrated socially. Not a lot of people doing stuff still. Everyone keeps blaming the economy, but, I sign up for very cheap events. I've done meetup groups. I've done speed dating events. I've done all sorts of things. And everyone is just obsessed with a digital brand to build passive income. Why do we need passive income 24/7? Okay, it's one thing to have a passive savings, or not a passive savings. It's the one thing to have a savings account that has your rainy day fund in it. I'm all about shit like that. But we can't live in a world where everyone's just making a podcast and consuming and producing digital media and then hoping there's enough consumers. Okay? We need to start going outside and reviving these areas. All right? And it's a lot of people to blame. If I had to blame 2 demographics of people, again, I've brought this up. Women are too liberal, men are too conservative. That is the number one problem with our country, and I would argue probably most of the world. At least industrialized nations, USA, Canada's, Germany, France's, England's, Japan's, South Korea's, probably even countries like China, Mexico, Brazil, which are like second world nations. I don't know about Russia because they're going through, they're fighting wars and they're fighting people and starting wars, really. Same with Ukraine. Like those countries have more problems. I wish they would, I wish that peace would actually fucking happen. But at the same time, I bet you they're addicted to smartphones too, in some ways. And it really what it just comes down to is all of these countries are obsessed with the internet and obsessed with social media. And it is like the number one cause of all the world's problems. But I am tired of everyone needing to build, like everyone having to be on their grind, everyone having to be on their hustle, everyone having to have 5 sources of income, passive income. They work their job where everyone, you need to make $100,000 a year. It's like, this is partially contributing to why we can't afford things. You are being exhausted of all of your energy, and it's just, and you're never gonna outcompete a mega company who can dictate prices way better than the individual or even a small group of consumers. You are being extracted of all of your time, money, and energy. Are you happy? You keep talking about your grind and your hustle, yet you're miserable. It's almost like you're doing this to yourselves. Again, I do work my job, and again, I have been a little bit less successful at it lately, and they've told me so, and I don't think I'm going to get fired, but I don't know. I have saved up some excess money. I downgraded my apartment. I no longer live in the pricier one. I live in one that's about $300 cheaper a month, so there are still some. What I will say right now is the time to switch your lease up. I would not renew leases if you are. Move to a different apartment unit. Due to some of these lawsuits that maybe are pending, you are seeing a little bit of a decline in apartment unit costs. Not a huge one. It's a small victory, very small, but it is one. And you need to do that. You need to go about your business and do things like that. Okay? And what I will tell you is this. I don't know where single women hang out. I don't even know if women are even interested in dudes anymore. I don't know what came first. Did men become too conservative or women? I mean, really what it just comes down to is I don't really think, it's very hard for men in the dating game. But that doesn't mean you should be some dude bro, douchebag, Andrew Tate, Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, conservative Trump MAGA fuck. You can stand up to feminism, or at least the flaws of it, that don't really help men out, okay? But you don't have to become Andrew Tate. That's not really going to make your life better, all right? What's going to make your life better is not being in this hustle and just trying to at least congregate with other like-minded people. It's most likely going to be dudes, because really right now, if you can break yourself away from the conservative male YouTube brand and become a normal human being, it's going to be hard to find the women in there, because there's a lot of liberal women who act very similar to conservative men. They are obsessed with their careers. They are obsessed with money. So it is not just conservative men who are doing this. A lot of left-wing women they say they hate capitalism, but they really do like large chunks of it, and they really love focusing on their career, aka the capitalization of their labor. So I do think that, it is funny how I am more left-leaning than right-leaning, but I see a lot of hypocritical behavior with left-leaning, especially women, that is very similar to a lot of hypocritical behavior with right-wing men. But why does everybody need a personal brand? Again, you get, I got 10 likes on a YouTube comment, I got to start a podcast. Holy shit. What we need to do is have more people go out and do things. Socialize. Even if it's just going to a bar and playing, I don't know, everyone talks about, I mean, this isn't a bar thing, but pickleball is really popular, and start a small pickleball tournament, for like $100 to the winner or something. You'd have to make sure you don't have somebody go in there and be a ringer and just steal the money, but try to pair up people on their skill level and have an entry fee. I've tried really hard to start a recreational baseball league and try to find just if you have just 100 people sign up, you can make, if you have a team of 12 people, 9 people batting and 3 pitchers or something, or have the pitcher bat and you'd have 4 pitchers and 8 people batting or whatever, whatever. And just have a baseball league where you play 2 months of baseball games on the weekend, and for, whatever, and winner take, the top 3 teams. If you can get 10 teams, the top 3 make some money or something. Just something to do that makes you feel like you earned something, But a lot of people just don't want to do anything. They want to consume digital media all day and just complain about how everything sucks. You have right-wingers complaining about birth rates. You have left-wingers complaining about how they don't want to have kids because of climate change. And it's like, both of these people suck. You're your own worst enemy. You don't go out and do stuff. And it's like, first of all, to the people who are anti-natalist because of climate change, you do realize almost all of climate change is at the behest of 15 energy companies, right? You do realize you as an individual and the vast majority of people in your neighborhood or your apartment complex or whatever are not really doing much to climate change. Okay? It's mostly just energy companies and, whatever, people like Taylor Swift's Eras Tour and shit like that. And somebody who how some mega movie star has a 20 bedroom mansion, and it's just him and his wife, and they have an insane amount of energy consumption with something like that. It's really not, most people are not really doing that much to contribute to the destruction of the environment. Most people are not doing much to it. It's mostly a small amount of people, and mostly just energy companies. Climate change is real. Sorry, right-wing nut jobs, it is. Shut the fuck up. But it's not really at the fault of most left-wing or right-wing people. So, I mean, I just can't stand how stupid people are. It's like, no, it's just go outside and meet people. I'm trying so damn hard to meet people. And nobody's interested. I joined a movie meetup group. This was before COVID. I joined up one, and then I did another one again kind of recently, and it's so pathetic. There are literally people who go to this meetup group. They show up 5 to 10 minutes early, maybe say hello at best, buy their ticket and popcorn. They go into the theater, sit with the group, and then I pop out. When the movie ends, we all get up out. Maybe after halfway through the credits, we get up and leave. And I want to, wait in the lobby. And, a lot of these movie theaters have bars associated, and it's just like, walk over to the bar, get a beer with, your group of 8, 10 people and talk about the fucking movie and socialize and build a network. Build someone who might offer you, oh, hey, we're actually hiring at my job. Send me your resume. You're more likely to have success in life doing shit like that. But instead, these people, after the movie ends, it's a husband and wife who started this meetup group, and the husband and wife stay, and I'll talk to them, and they're friendly enough, and I'm happy to at least have met them. They're a lot older. They're probably like 20 years older than me, but they treat me like a youngish adult. I mean, I'm still, kind of young. I'm in my early 30s. And they treat me, they kind of treat me a little bit younger than that. I feel like they treat me like I'm early to mid 20 something, but like they still treat me adult enough. And they're in their probably early 50s, and we talk about the movie, a little bit of life, and then unfortunately it's just, us three. And, there's not, I mean, I try my best to keep the conversation, but it's also, they're also a lot older than me. And I think what happened is their story is they're kind of new to the area that I live in. And so, they just did that to meet people. And it's like, oh man, at least Gen Xers get that right, I guess. But yeah, people just don't do anything. It's like, why would you join a movie meetup group and then just leave as soon as the movie is over and not even meet the people you met with the group? It's like, you don't even want to talk for 5 minutes and meet the person you just sat in a fucking dark theater with for 2 hours? Holy shit. Instead, they have to go back to be on their grind, and they have to go back to, they probably blab about the movie on Twitter or Reddit or some shit to get upvotes and retweets and follower counts, and they're not even getting any of that. They might get one every 5 years, or maybe not that. Maybe it's a little better than that, I would hope. But maybe they get one new follower. They see a new movie in the theater, and they get one new follower every 3 movies. Talking about this movie to build their personal brand or some dumb shit. Just stop with the internet. I understand the irony of this, but I would love for me to not have to make this vlog. Instead, this is more of just a cathartic release of just anger that people are doing this all the time. I don't get a lot. I mean, I don't have people follow. I have 2 people as of this video following my channel. I'm not trying to build a brand. I'm trying to illustrate what needs to happen. I would love for me to wake up tomorrow and YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Netflix, Instagram, all these things are like, we're done. Go outside, meet new people. That's going to improve your birth rates if you're a Republican who obsessed over birth rates. I actually am a left-winger who actually has some concerns over the birth rate. It's like, yeah, we do need to make sure people, again, Social Security does need younger people working. I don't know if I'd call it a Ponzi scheme, but I definitely agree that it needs to have younger people working. But so does every business. Businesses need people being born to either A, manage the business down the line, or B, to shop and buy things. It's almost just like life. I've said this goddamn so many times. Life itself is a bit of a Ponzi scheme. Capitalism has just the same flaws as Social Security in this regard. These small cities, these small towns, I know Springfield, Ohio is in the news for all the Haitian migrants and whatnot, and it's like, people think it's like a conspiracy that they dumped them all there. I don't know if they should have dumped that many. I don't know the whole demographics of that regard, but you want to know why these small towns are dying and all these, these people who are maybe native to the small towns, oh, we're being left behind. It's because the last time you had a generation of youth in these small towns was like the 90s, and you sent them to college and they never came back. You said, oh, go out into the world and make something of yourself. And a lot of them did. And they never went back to the small town. And now you have a bunch of those people who raised those kids were in their 50s or so when the kids left the small town, when the 18 to 24-year-olds left those small towns. Well, now they're in their 70s. Because that was 20 years ago. If not, maybe even slightly more than that. Maybe even they're in their fucking 80s. The median age of these small towns across, not even just flyover country, although that's where they're probably the most prominent, but the median age of all these small towns is insanely high. It's like, if you're in some of these areas of Ohio and you're in your 40s, you're still considered young. That's middle-aged. All right, 35 is the start of middle-aged. And that continues probably until about 65. That's a long time. It's 30 years. That's a good chunk of, that's a good chunk of that's a good chunk of anybody's life. But 0 to 30, 35 is I don't know if I'd call 30-ish youth, but it's youth-ish. And then 30, 35 to about 65 or so is middle-aged. And then 65 plus is the last, your last trimester or whatever. So yeah, I think there's a huge concern with people just not going out and doing stuff. Fuck your dumb podcast. We don't need a podcast for every former athlete who played in NFL, NBA. We don't need a YouTube channel from Tom Brady, Jack Black, Will Smith. We don't need 9 NBA podcasts from JJ Redick, Paul George, Jeff T. We don't need all these things. Why are you consuming it 24/7? And then you want to know where your day went. It went consuming a bunch of stupid internet media that makes you not very fulfilled with your life. I hope everybody on the planet watches this video and only once. And that's it. And then move on with your goddamn life. And find other shit to do. And have a good time. And meet people. And acknowledge that not everybody sees the world the same way you do. Okay? And that primarily is addressed, I would argue, again, to conservative men and liberal women, okay? No, the answer to everything is not blank slate feminism. And no, the answer to everything is not laissez-faire capitalism, dude bro economics and Bitcoin. Holy fucking shit. Anyway, this is a more angrier rant for sure. And I'm just so fed up with how nobody wants to do anything anymore. I remember, I was talking to an older guy at the gym that I work out at, and he was talking about, how everyone has Instagram kickstands up for, because this gym I work out at, it's crazy how many people will be filming themselves at every time you walk in there. It's usually there's at least probably 2 or 3 people working. It's one thing if you every so often you film yourself doing like a 1 rep max or something. I get that. You want to have that maybe for whatever, just for shits and giggles. But it's another thing where it's like, we get it. You need to do your set of 10, whatever, leg lifts or some stupid like booty hip thrust exercise machine. It's like, we don't need to record that shit. Why? And, I just don't understand that. But it's like he was talking about how everyone records themselves. And I was like, well, this is the new fad. It's like how back in the, throughout the starting sometime in like the 2000s, especially by the mid to late 2000s, a lot of gyms, everyone had their headphones in 24/7. It's like, I even asked him, I was like, were you working out hardcore in the 90s? He was like, yeah, it was a better time. Same with he said in the 80s and 90s, gyms were more social too, and I would love to have witnessed that. I didn't really witness that. I kind of did. The late 2000s and early 2010s, I was fresh out of high school, and they had a little bit of a social atmosphere still. It was already dwindling pretty bad, and it was still, headphones were everywhere, but you would still meet people and talk to them and just chill for, 10 minutes or whatever and talk about life and shit. It was a better time even then, but it was still bad. It was already, the damage was already been done. The damage has been done since 2007, the damage has been done since 2007, I would argue. And that's because that is when the iPhone was released. That's when modern era social media took off, and it's just created so much narcissism and so much damaging of human behavior and just relationships in general. We need to reestablish actual love, trust, communication, friendliness, and having a good time. It needs to be reestablished and quickly. We don't have much time left. I still think there's enough time to fix this shit, but we're running out of time. We're late in the third quarter, early fourth quarter. We need to start fixing this now. So fuck your personal brand. Fuck your dumb podcast. Start meeting people. stop with the, oh, I have anxiety about me. It's like, fuck off. It's like, just break the ice. It's not that hard to break the ice and just be break the ice and be a goofball for, interact with, and then like you'd be surprised how quickly people will warm up to you. Just my thoughts, and I'm out.